Hello everyone, this is S.M. Abdus Azad, Professor of English, Carmichael College, Rangpur. Welcome to my English lesson. Today, I am going to give you a lesson on The Caretaker by Harold Pinter. Harold Pinter was born on the 10th of October 1930 in London, England. He died on the 24th of December 208 in London. He was an English playwright who achieved international renown as one of the most complex and challenging post-Second World War dramatists. His plays are noted for their use of understatement, small talk, uncommunicativeness, and even silence to convey the substance of a character's thought, which often lies several layers beneath and contradicts his speech. In 2005, he won the Nobel Prize for Literature. Let us have a look on the career of Harold Pinter as a dramatist. Harold Pinter began to write for the stage after 1956. The Room, first produced in 1957, and The Dumb Waiter, first produced in 1959, his first two plays, are one-act dramas that established the mood of comic menace that was to figure largely in his later works. The Birthday Party, first produced in 1958, his first full-length play, puzzled the London audiences and lasted only a week, but later it was televised and revived successfully on the stage. The Caretaker, first produced in 1960, his second full-length play, established him as more than just another practitioner of the then popular The Theatre of the Absurd, and his reputation was secured. The Homecoming helped establish him as the originator of a unique dramatic icon. His other major plays include Landscape, Silence, Night, Old Times, No Man's Land, Betrayal, Moonlight, and Celebration. In addition to works for the stage, Pinter wrote radio and television dramas and a number of successful motion picture screenplays. Pinter was also a noted poet, and his verse, such as that collected in War, often reflected his political views and involvement in numerous causes. He achieved many prestigious awards. His notable awards were Companion of Honor, Nobel Prize in Literature, Legion d'Honneur, David Cohen Prize, and Laurence Olivier Award. Pinter's play The Caretaker is regarded as the theatre of the absurd. Let us now see what is the theatre of the absurd. The theatre of the absurd is a movement in drama that refers to the work of several playwrights of the 1950s and 1960s. The term is credited to the critic Martin Esslin, who in turn derives it from an essay by the French writer Albert Camus. Camus wrote it in 1942, Myth of Sisyphus, that human life was essentially meaningless and absurd in a universe suddenly devastated of illness and of light. Man feels an alien, a stranger. This divorce between man and his life, the actor and his setting, is properly the feeling of absurdity. In his essay, Aislinn referred to absurdism as the inevitable devaluation of ideals, purity, and purpose. The theatre of the absurd writers, including Samuel Beckett, Arthur Adamov, Harold Pinter, and Eugene Ionesco, sought to expound on this belief that life was absurd, that human beings occupied a capricious and meaningless universe in which they were able to play no authentic role. Their work focused on humans trying to control the events in their lives and the resultant chaos. Many of the characters are clowns or completely helpless and bereft of rationality. They also tend to be of the lower social classes. Overall, they seem endangered and controlled by invisible outer forces, completely unable to attain autonomy. Communication between characters is difficult, if not impossible. Language is unable to create human connections. Some characters try to fight back against the deadening complexity of their world, but are unsuccessful in their efforts. Let us now discuss some issues on the play Caretaker. The Caretaker is a play in 3 acts by Harold Pinter. Although it was the 6th of his major works for stage and television, this psychological study of the confluence of power, allegiance, innocence, and corruption among 2 brothers and a tramp became Pinter's first significant commercial success. First published by both Encore Publishing and Ir Methuen in 1960, The Caretaker remains one of Pinter's most celebrated and oft-performed plays. Characters. There are 3 characters only. Mick is a man in his late 20s. Aston, a man in his early 30s. Mick and Aston are brothers, and there is an old man, Davis. Setting: a house in West London in winter. Genre: tragicomedy in the form of the theatre of the absurd.
That Scotch git! I tell you, I've seen the days I'd have poked him one of the bloody eye, I tell you that. All right, hit me like that. Oh, another thing I could do, I could get down to Kensington Oval. See, I gotta start thinking things out all over again now, you see.
Up here. All the way up.
Filthy skate. An old man like me. I'd had dinner with the best. They got no respect, you see.
Sit down.
Thanks.
Oh, just a minute.
Sit down. I haven't had a good sit down. And a proper sit down. Well, I couldn't tell you.
Here you are.
All them blacks, they keep you running around all night. You still get a chance to sit down. A Scotch kit. 10 minutes off for tea break in the middle of the night in that place, and I couldn't find a seat, not one. All them blacks at it. Blacks, drinks, Poles, all them aliens at it.
Take a seat.
Yes, well, what I got to do first, you see, what I got to do, I got to loosen myself up, you see what I mean? I could have got done in down there.
Do you want to roll yourself one of these?
What? No, thanks. I never smoke a cigarette. I tell you what, though, I'll have a bit of that tobacco there for my pipe, if you like.
Yes, go on, take some out of there.
Thanks, that's kind of you, mister. Just enough to fill my pipe, that's all. All them tow rags make, they got the manners of pigs. I might have been on the road a few years, but you can take it from me, I'm clean. I keep myself up. That was why I left my wife. Fortnight after I married her, no, not so much as that, no more than a week. I took the lid off a saucepan. Do you know what was in it? Pile of her underclothing, unwashed.
Now we are going to look at the summary. The play takes place in one room of a house in West London during the 1950s. It is winter. The play begins with Mick sitting on a bed in the room, but when he hears a door open and shut somewhere off stage, he leaves. Aston, his brother, and Davis, an old tramp, enter. Aston has helped Davis in a fight at the cafe where he was working an odd job. Aston offers Davis clothes, shoes, and a place to stay the night. Davis is loud and prejudiced, complaining about the blacks and people of other races. Aston, by contrast, is reserved, shy, and speaks haltingly. Davis accepts Aston's offer and says he will have to go down to Sidcup to get his papers, which will confirm who he is. The next morning, Aston tells Davis that he was being loud in his sleep, a statement that Davis strenuously rejects. Aston prepares to go out and tells Davis he can stay there. The tramp says he will try to find a job. After Aston is gone, Mick enters and engages Davis in a silent tussle. He asks Davis what his game is. Mick asks Davis strange questions and discourses on random topics, discombobulating the old man. He finally says that Davis can rent the room if he wants. Aston returns with a bag of Davis's belongings. Mick leaves. The bag turns out not to be Davis's, and he is annoyed. Aston asks Davis if he wants to be the caretaker of the place. He in turn is supposed to be decorating the landing and turning it into a real flat for his brother. Davis is wary at first because the job might entail real work, but he agrees. Later, Davis is in the room and Mick uses the vacuum cleaner in the dark to frighten Davis. Adopting a more casual manner, he asks Davis if he wants to be caretaker. Davis asks who really is in charge of the place, and Mick deceives him. He asks Davis for references, and Davis promises to go to Sidcup to get them.
Look, I got a little proposition to make to you. I'm thinking of taking over the running of this place, you see. I think it could be run a lot more efficiently. I've got a lot of ideas, a lot of plans. Now, how would you like to stay on here as caretaker?
What?
Well, I could rely on a man like you around the place to keep an eye on things.
Well, now, look here. I never done no caretaker before, you see.
Oh, you've been in the services, haven't you?
The what?
You've been in the services, you can tell by your stance.
Oh, yes. I spent half my life there, man. Overseas, like, serving I was.
In the colonies, weren't you?
I was over there. I was one of the first over there.
Well, that's what I mean. You're just the man I've been looking for.
What for?
Caretaker.
Yes, well, now look here. Listen, Who is the landlord here, him or you?
Me? I am. I got deeds to prove it.
Oh, well, in that case, I don't mind doing a bit of caretaking for you. I don't mind looking after the place for you.
Of course. We'd come to a small financial agreement, mutually beneficial.
I'll leave you to reckon all that out, like.
Thanks. I'm pari passu and pro rata.
Oh, yes.
Just one thing. Have you got any references?
Hey?
Just to satisfy my solicitor.
I got plenty of references. All I got to do is get down to Sidcup tomorrow. I know that place like the back of my hand. I got all the references I want down there.
Good.
The next morning, Davis prolongs his decision to go out, blaming bad weather. Aston tells him about how he used to hallucinate and was placed in a mental facility and given electroshock treatment against his will. His thoughts are slower now, and he wishes he could find the man who put the pincers to his head. All he wants to do, though, is build the shed in the garden. 2 weeks later, Davis is full of complaints about Aston, delivering them to Mick. One night, Aston wakes Davis to make him stop making noise in his sleep, and Davis explodes, mocking him for his shock treatment. Aston quietly says he is not working out and out to leave. Davis curses him and says he will talk to Mick about it. Davis speaks with Mick and argues that Aston should be evicted. Mick pretends to agree with him for a bit and then starts to ask Davis about his claim that he is an expert interior decorator. Confused at this claim, Davis tries to correct Mick. At one point, he calls Aston nutty, which causes Mick to order him to leave. He gives Davis money to pay him out for his services. Aston enters, and both brothers are faintly smiling. Mick leaves, and Davis tries to plead with Aston again. He grows more and more desperate, persuading and promising to be better. All Aston says is that Davis makes too much noise. The curtain descends on Davis's protestations.
If I don't get it up now, it'll never go up. Till it's up, I can't get started. Well, I'll give you a hand to put up your shed. That's what I'll do. I'll give you a hand. You see what I'm saying?
I can get it up myself.
But listen, I'm here. I'm with you. I'll do it for you. We'll do it together. Christ, we'll change beds! Look here, listen, man, I don't mind. If you don't want to swap beds, all right, we'll keep it as it is. I'll stay in the same bed. If I could get maybe a bit of stronger sacking light to go over that window and keep out the draft. That'll do it. Well, what do you say? We'll keep it as it is.
No.
Why not?
You make too much noise.
Look here, listen. Listen here. I mean, what am I going to do? What do I do? Where am I going to go? All right. You want me to go, I'll go. You'll say the word. Just say the word. Listen! If I could get down to, if I could get hold of my papers, would you let me? If I got down. And got me.
Now, let us analyze the three characters. Let us first look at Aston. He is the older brother of Mick. He appears shy, reserved, and slow. He speaks haltingly and has trouble finishing projects. He reveals that when younger, he was subject to hallucinations, and then, against his will, he was put into a mental facility and given electroshock treatment. He confesses he has difficulty ordering his thoughts. He is also very compassionate, offering Davis a place to stay and a job. He is finally pushed to his limits when Davis mocks his treatment and makes too much noise. He has a good relationship with Mick, although they do not speak to each other. Now let us analyze the character of Davis. Davis is an itinerant and a tramp. After a fight at his cafe job, he is brought by Aston to the room where he is offered the caretaker position by both Aston and Mick. Davis is loud, confident, arrogant, and full of himself. He has a martyr complex, believing that everyone else, particularly other races, is out to get him. His identity is questionable, as his papers have been at SITCAP for a long time. He eventually alienates Aston with his irritability, laziness, and mean-spiritedness, and is forced out of the room. Now we are going to analyze the character of Mick. Mick is the younger brother of Aston. He is rather mysterious and complex. He cares deeply for his brother and deftly deceives Davis. He is intelligent and ambitious and talks frequently about his projects and desires to expand. He lives outside the room but resents Davis's entrance into it. While he admits to getting frustrated with Aston, his dream is to fix a flat and live there with him. Alright everyone, if you want to get more information about the play, you can visit the addresses given here. You can have a PDF copy of the presentation from my SlideShare account also. The address is given here. Alright everybody, that's it for now. Thank you very much. Stay home, stay safe.